Hey there, kids. It's me, MrCreepyPasta, and I need just a second. I got a lot that's lined up for you guys for this Halloween horror countdown. It's gonna be great. I've even got like the return of the pasta monsters coming this month, but I just need to beat this bag of bones at his own game. Hey, look! It's a dog! Well, Billy, read him and weep. Pretty sure I won this game. Oh, come on! Don't be like that! I beat you fair and square. I beat you kind of fair and square. Oh, what are you gonna do? You can't exactly just walk out of here. You're a skeleton. Oh. I guess you can just walk out of here. That's fine. Who needs you? I've gone on and done this for years without him. You kids remember that, right? Like some 3 years ago I started without him. I don't need this game. I don't need no skeleton sidekick. I could be the best MCP all by myself.
Why is my name always taken?
Hey, Billy! Guess what I just got out of the new 1-Up box? Oh, that's right. No, go away, I'm lonely.
Come on, you can't be like this forever.
It's already been forever.
It's been like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but...
Reed, you have kids watching and a Halloween countdown you need to start.
But Billy...
I will get Billy. You spook people.
Yeah, you know what? That's fine. I do. I have a Halloween horror countdown. It's October, and you kids came here to hear a story. Not just any story. 13 stories. And this one takes us back to our origins, should I say. The CreepyPasta monsters are finally back for this Halloween horror countdown, and I plan on making this one the best one that we ever have. With or without Billy.
It was October, and the night was alive with dark things. The whole of the village populace knew this, and they stayed in their unlit homes, huddled beneath their sheets or in corners as outside wolves and other things stalked the streets, emboldened by the change in the air. In the forest around the village, spiders and snakes, cicadas and beetles, katydids and centipedes, and other insects that have never been above ground swarmed amongst the invisible pathways made by the old ley lines, following the dark energies that flowed beneath the earth. At the center of the forest was a clearing, blighted and barren, save for a towering black tree, one of 8 in the known world, which wasn't a tree at all. Beneath the leaves of the tree, lying naked in a blot of shade that was darker than the blackened soil around it, was a woman, dirty, exhausted, racked with fever and the first pains of labor, yet trembling with eager anticipation. Around her were the last of the old breeds, wary of the tree that wasn't a tree and the thing it held in its roots, for it was older than even the oldest among them, and it knew many things. There were only 3 species left, and their decay was overtaking them. Werewolves with raw, bloody skin showing through the thinning, lice-ridden hair. Vampires, some of their bodies stuck between bat and man, and some of the physical forms that were becoming elemental dust, leaving them with heads and torsos like fallen sand castles, and the last ghouls to live above ground. This October marked the last night of their reign, their cycle. Their legacies would live on, of this they were sure, but the old ways were dying out, and they were destined to join them as relics of a more superstitious age. And so, the monsters watched the woman eagerly, for within her womb lay the promise of a new beginning, a new breed of evil fit to stalk the shadows in their stead. The thing in the tree's roots had told them as much. The woman was an outcast, sickly, jaundiced, her blood tainted from birth, and her mind gifted with sight beyond sight. The people of the village had marked her as a freak, a curse clad in human skin, and a witch. She had been miserable, living in a shanty in the woods, surviving off refuse and occasional rat, tormented day and night by her visions. They had prepared to send someone for her, but she came to them willingly and asked them what she was to do. She'd not shown a second of reticence when they told her. Her visions, her malady, her status amongst the so-called normal people of the village, all of it had been Providence guiding her to her true purpose, and she'd always known it. They watched as with shaky steps she ventured into the deepest, darkest part of the wood, to the clearing and the tree which wasn't a tree. She returned, 3 days later, her stomach swollen with child. And now, after a week of feverish anticipation had passed, the time was nigh. They gathered around her and watched as she began to convulse. With the first contraction, the moon yellowed as she began to scream, and several of the vampires fell apart, the grasping talons of time having finally caught them. The woman's stomach bulged. She gasped, and the tree's branches twisted like spiders' legs. A lone werewolf let out a long, low howl that was picked up by her packmates and grew in volume until they eclipsed the sound of the crickets and owls. The woman began to scream just as the cacophony was dying down. The ghouls threw their long canine heads back and screamed in their ancient tongue as beneath the open black sky, with skin of fire, with sickness, and surrounded by night's denizens, the woman gave birth to a thing that could only be called a man by its shadow. All sounds died away as the creature unfurled his limbs and stood. He was unnaturally tall and unhumanly thin, this new creature with skin that was as pale as milk and blank face covered in skin as smooth as marble beneath the blood that coated it. His limbs were many-jointed. His bones shifted ceaselessly beneath his skin, and a multitude of long tentacles emerged from his back, testing the air and snapping like bullwhips. It was in stunned, horrified, awestruck silence that the old breeds departed, leaving the slender man and his dying mother alone. He paid them no heed. His mind was already occupied. He'd been born with his vast intelligence and bothersome cruelty. His cunning and hunger were there also, as was the desire to test the full extent of his power. Looking down at the deep shade cast by the tree, he gestured deftly, and the shadows left the ground and clung to his skin. A wet, rattling cough brought his attention back to his mother, who lay dying upon the ground. Quickly, he knelt down by her side and lowered his featureless face to hers. He did not kiss her, though. Instead, he placed a long, bony hand on her fevered brow. Then he stood up and walked to the tree. Not wasting a moment's time, he carved a sigil into the skin, drawing black blood. It was a simple rune, a circle crossed by an X, and its meaning was known only to him. It was his mark, his warning, his coat of arms, his brand. The moon had begun to fall by this time, and the dawn would break soon. The Slender Man had much to do. The air warped around him, and he vanished without a sound. His mother followed a few moments later, leaving her old skin behind for the insects. In the clearing, the tree's black branches withered and rotted, as beneath the soil the thing caught in its roots, laughed in the darkness even as it died. A new cycle had begun. Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and I've worked with a lot of talent over the years. Many of the authors have books of their own, which I highly encourage all of you to check out to see more of their tales of the strange and horrific. And for those looking for a sampler of some of my absolute favorites, I've worked with these authors to compile just that. Stories that have been made famous throughout the internet, stories on this channel, and some that are brand new. The CreepyPasta collection is a long time coming, with support from all authors involved. Check it out on Amazon and in your local bookstores September 2nd. Or, I suppose you could save yourself the nightmares.